how did you come to be connected with IRMA? How did you how did that journey happen?
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So I was actually all set to go to the Reserve Bank of India because I was trained as a monetary economist. My thesis was with Dr. Rangarajan, who was actually soon going to become the Deputy Governor of Reserve Bank of India around the time I was finishing my PhD. So he had set up everything for me to kind of, follow him in the RBI. And I was also very keen on that job. But as I was finishing my comprehensive and I finished my Vadua, so I would go and tell my parents that now finished and maybe I'll now be able to start supporting them and all that other stuff. And there was a friend at IRMA who was still in the doctoral program. And he told me that while you're going to your village on the way back, why don't you just drop into Anand? I had been with NDDB for several years and I'll speak to someone and maybe you can just look up NDDB and meet Dr. Kurien. So I took a bus to my village, which is about 40 kilometers from Anand. And after spending a day with my parents, next day morning I was taking a bus back to Ahmedabad. So I dropped by at Anand, following Anil Pandya's advice. And I went and somebody was waiting for me. So they took me to Dr. Nija, who used to be the secretary of the dairy board at that time. And at that time, there used to be a FAO advisor to NDDB, Michael Hals. He was a management specialist, especially marketing specialist, and he was actually the brain behind Operation Flood. So I was asked to spend an hour with him. So I had a leisurely chat with him, and then we headed out for lunch. And by the time we came back for lunch, I was ready to be taken to Dr. Kurien, the Czar. So I went and I had exactly 5 minutes with him, and I was basically mesmerized in those 5 minutes. So I had that 5-minute discussion with him, and I then went to meet Mr. Jala. And by the time I came out of Mr. Jala's office, there was somebody waiting with an appointment letter for me. So I didn't expect NDDB to kind of operate like that. So I went home, and my wife was waiting for me, and she was working at that time in Ahmedabad in a bank. And I told her that maybe RBI is not all that good at idea. Maybe I should give a try to this new organization. Dr. Kurien, Mike also told me that if I took up NDDB, then I would basically be asked to head a small formal planning unit, which would do economic analysis, and it would be housed in the chairman's office. So there was a special attraction to be, close to the seat of power and to opportunities of working with Dr. Kurien. So I then actually, I was very embarrassed because I didn't have a heart to go and tell Dr. Rangarajan that they'll change the plans, and maybe instead of working with Reserve Bank, I'll spend a year or two with cows and buffaloes, of which I had absolutely I didn't even know whether cows had 4 udders or 6.